Well, they can't all be winners. But is this episode a total dud? Let's take a look at the cart before the ponies. The Cutie Mark Crusaders are excited to be participating in their first Applewood Derby race, with each of them eager to try out something new. They each recruit their sisters to help build and race their carts, but soon come to regret their choices when their partners take over the competition. After sitting last season out, Ed Valentine returns to the show for the first of at least 2 episodes this season. And after debuting strongly in Season 4 with Flight to the Finish and Three's a Crowd, the former being one of my favourite episodes, it's a shame to see him come back to the show with something really underwhelming. The episode actually gets off to a great start, with all the school ponies looking completely dumbfounded when Cheerilee tells them they'll be learning about physics. I don't know if it's because I had a similar response to the subject when I was at school, or whether it's because they live in a universe where the laws of physics have never been relevant, but it just cracked me up. The fact that the CMC all want to try something new in preparing for the race is an excellent way for the show to follow on from On Your Marks by having them continue to expand their interests and knowledge. Sadly, when Rainbow Dash, Applejack and Rarity enter the story, that's when it starts to go downhill fast. And the episode's title, The Cart Before the Ponies, is literally what you get. The race in question offers prize-winning ribbons in 3 categories. One for the fastest cart, one for the most traditional, and one for the most creative. Apple Bloom wants to win in the first category, Sweetie Belle the second, and Scootaloo the third. However, their intentions are shot down when their respective sisters reveal their own desires, which the CMC reluctantly accept on the grounds that they can trust more experienced ponies. Rainbow Dash wants to relive her childhood memories of being the fastest racer, Applejack wants to uphold a long-standing family tradition of having the most traditional vehicle, while Rarity wants to claim first place for style after losing it to Derpy when she was a filly. These 3 may have motivations that are believable, but that doesn't mean that their actions are excusable. Rather than work as a team with their younger siblings, they instead assume complete creative control, either ignoring or disregarding any ideas that the CMCs try to suggest. It even gets to the point where they put the fillies in the passenger seat while they drive the carts, despite being called out about the fact that it's supposed to be the other way round. The way these 3 ponies act makes it very hard to enjoy large portions of this episode, as it's constantly frustrating to see them behaving this selfishly, especially towards their younger sisters. One of the things I've always loved about this show is that its characters are all imperfect. They do make big mistakes and they learn and grow from them. But in this instance, that's not a saving grace for the narrative. There's a difference between writing characters as reasonably flawed and unreasonably stupid, and much of the time this episode unfortunately places Rainbow Dash, Applejack and Rarity into the latter. The errors in their ways might have been more believable if this were a season 1 or 2 episode. And for better or worse, The Cart Before the Ponies does have a bit of a season 2 vibe to it at times. But the fact of the matter is, it's a season 6 episode. And when thinking about how much these 3 ponies have grown over the years, it's hard to shrug off the feeling that they are much better than how they're being characterized here. The episode isn't all doom and gloom though. Strangely, one of the best aspects of it is one that probably shouldn't even be here. That being a song titled Derby Racers. It completely shifts focus away from what could and should have been a fun and exciting race. But despite this, it's a very likeable and catchy tune with a melody that had me tapping my feet from the first note and humming for a while afterwards. I also really liked seeing Cheerilee again, who does look very cute in her cheerleader outfits, and the message is a really strong and realistic one as well. I'm not sure if it was meant to speak more to younger viewers who are afraid to speak up, or older viewers who don't always have the tendency to listen, but either way, it still works well, reminding us that despite being wiser or more experienced, your elders don't always know best. In the end, the fillies are given the chance to run the race over just by themselves, but we don't see whether or not the CMC won their desired prizes. While some viewers hoping for a more definitive conclusion might get annoyed by this, I actually have to give it a lot of credit. It seems to promote the idea that having fun competing is more important than being victorious, and that's a far better message to get across, especially to kids. It's just a shame I can't praise this episode for much else. The Cart Before the Ponies isn't a complete travesty by any means, and does have some enjoyable factors. But with such a fun premise and the writer of one of my favourite episodes behind it, I expected much more here, but I was sadly disappointed. Definitely a lower tier entry in the season, but one that still has some redeeming qualities. I'm going to give it a Silver Star score of 5 out of 10.